And if you want to, right?
Then not being scared of the repercussions, like some of my money going to stop coming in.
Right, but when you 150 million up, 500 million up,
it's not gonna hurt you.
10 million up, bro, you 3 million up, right? How much money do Oprah, Beyonce, 50 old and Puffy need to make before they say, you know what, I don't care about these relationships?
Right. True.
It's about life and life more abundant.
Correct. But it's no different than the African who was around during slavery time who had some land.
Yeah.
Or who had some rights, or who had a business, or was in the house with the master.
The house.
I don't want to mess up my position for these Negroes.
It's Negro. The house Negro.
Out here. You so worried about giving up your comfortability, your income, your success, and you missing your legacy. You're missing your real calling, your real purpose of what you can do as far as the community. Maybe that's not their calling. So everyone has a different calling, but it's just sad that they can do something around it because our issues in our community are threefold. We suffer from political oppression, and I didn't make this up. I want to give it to our elder, our forefather, Malcolm X.
Yeah.
He laid it out for us in 1964. We suffer from political oppression, from economic exploitation, and social degradation. We degrade ourselves socially, and we're degraded socially, and our money is exploited economically. So I just said simplify it: political oppression, economic oppression, social oppression. We're oppressed in those areas, and a lot of it we do to ourselves. So it's like politically, it's really simple. As we talked about, we haven't been able to unify ourselves ever as a people. It was Malcolm and Martin; they was beefing.
That's true.
And then when Malcolm came around, he was about to piece it up.
Got killed. Got killed.
Right? Or it's, you got Dr. Umar Johnson and you got Dr. Claude Anderson, you got this one, but why can't nobody ever get on the same page? I done reached out to all of them like, yo, what's up? Humbly as a servant to the community. I don't care about being a leader, none of that. But we too busy posturing, not even saying them, but in general, we're too busy posturing with our ego, our pride, and I've been doing this for this long and all of that. We don't build. That's one thing I want to strip away from my brand. So for me being a celebrity, realtor, or whatever else you want to call me, the idea when you're building a brand is that you want to set your bar here so that people value you, right? So you don't want everybody to have your number or be able to get you or whatever, all those kind of things. I disagree with that with my purpose for leading, because if you're going to build, you have to be able to be vulnerable and expose yourself. So that means I have to be able to build with you, and build with you, and build with you, build with the Bloods and Crips in Baltimore. I got to be able to go to their hood. You can't be an isolated celebrity and call yourself a leader.
True.
You can't build that way. And so you have even our socially conscious leaders, but they're so bougie in their own right that they won't even build with their brothers because they're too busy, or they're this guy, or you got to book me, or send my flight, and all this other kind of stuff, which is all prohibited our community progress. So, as we were saying earlier, there's the issue why we haven't been able to be politically effective is because we've never been able to unify. You got Democrats that are black, you got Republicans that are black. You got Protestants, you got Methodists, you got Episcopal, you got Muslim, you got Islam, Nation of Islam, you got Hebrew, you got Baptist. You got a million different religions within us. You got Blood, you got Crip, you got Vice Lord, you got GD, everything else in between. You got a million different gangs between us. Then you got men versus women. We got everything in the world that divides us. Right, darker, lighter.
Yeah.
But and then on top of that, what's the one thing that we have to unite us?
Poverty.
Crickets.
Nothing.
We got about what? At least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 10 black people right here. And Leo, you could chime in. He's not black, but he supports us.
I talked to him.
He does YMC all day. It's not about color.
Yeah.
We can't think of one thing that unites us because we don't have one. That's our issue. How can you unify people, meaning one, and they don't have one thing to rally around?
That's
so you can
embarrassing.
unify Puerto Ricans because they're Puerto Rican. They know what they are. You can unify Dominicans, you can unify Irish Americans, you can unify Italian Americans, you can unify Russian Americans, you can unify Japanese Americans. Which is why they got $1.6 billion reparations for 2 years of internment camps in World War II.
But I think, like you said, as far as standing on freedom,
you know,
we got to have a cause.
Yeah.
So my cause that I realize is that, okay, if we haven't been freed from a government that oppressed us and enslaved us,
Yeah.
that's one thing that we sure hell can rally around is like, yo, give us our actual freedom.
Yeah.
But before we even asking someone to give us anything or demanding anything, it still starts with self. We have to look at within.
You gotta come correct.
We haven't identified ourselves as a people. What is an African American? Somebody tell me. What is that?
An African American.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't really know, man.
Who named us African American? Where'd that come from?
I know these names will come out of nowhere. No.
Nah, I ain't know that.
Who came up with that? Because we weren't blacks a minute ago. We weren't Negroes.
It's called the
We weren't
slaves.
colored.
They called us African American. The slaves. I guess they did. You know, we've been.
But
No.
they called us everything
No.
else leading up
They
to
called
it.
you nigga.
Nigga.
That's what they called you.
Okay.
They called you boy.
Yeah, real tough. Real tough.
So we running around here with a name
Yeah.
that we didn't even give ourselves. Point being, we all know the Jews would do a Holocaust in Germany, right?
Yep.
Imagine if Hitler, before they came and bombed them and took Germany, imagine if Hitler, before the war, World War II, said, hey, I'm sorry for the Holocaust. My bad. I was tripping. All the Jews, you guys are free from concentration camps. I'm not taking your rights no more. You guys can be citizens of Nazi Germany again. Right? So Jews, listen, no more Holocaust, no more internment camps, no more concentration camps. You guys are free to be second-hand citizens here in Germany as Jewish Nazis.
They'll
You
never
think the
be.
Jews run around calling themselves Jewish Nazis?
Nope.
No.
Would you respect them or think they were crazy?
Yup.
They call themselves a Jewish Nazi?
Yup.
Yeah.
Bro, you an African American? What did America do to your people? Same thing Nazis did
Same
to the
thing.
Jews.
Same thing.
But you an African American. That's how crazy we are. That's how mixed up we are. That's just basic facts.
Wow. I never
You
looked
call
at
yourself a Nazi, African American, doesn't mean to call yourself a Jewish Nazi. Same thing. All because they apologized in 2008, Congress apologized for slavery. That's
After
all
how
they
many
got.
years?
That ain't enough.
100-something years later. So that is the
But it
issue
go
within
back
our
to self.
community.
It go
They go back to self.
We go back to self.
No one's gonna
What you
come
believe you
in.
can change.
No other people are gonna come in and say, "Hey guys, guess what? You're tripping right now. Y'all should be an independent nation." So we have to rally around something to unify ourselves to beat our political oppression. You've seen in Baltimore, everybody calls it a riot. I don't call it. There was no riot.
Right.
That was revolt. Google it. Revolt is an uprising against authority. That's a revolt. You don't want to call it a revolution because media controls that. They make you think it was.
That won't be televised.
They make you think that it was a riot. Oh, they're crazy. They're tripping. They're burning up their own communities. I just came from Baltimore. The Bloods and Crips controlled that whole community, made sure no black businesses were touched. Not one black business was burnt down or looted.
But they don't
They
mention
didn't
that
burn their
though.
own community. It's the media. I was just there with them on the ground.
Yeah, I seen that.
So
How come you're the only one?
I can't speak to that, bro.
Like a lot of celebrities, the only one. The only
He
one.
doing his part.
But that's why I
I'm-
respect. That's why I respect.
You know what I mean? They're the only one willing to stand in the crossfire.
He gonna be
Nobody
blessed.
else.
He gonna be blessed. 'Cause
Nobody else.
You out there with the homies.
You're not the only one.
I seen that.
Like-
Because we believe in leading by example. I don't want to just talk it. So you
Yeah.
get an athlete come out there for a day or two and
Dodge the
entertain her, yo,
cameras.
Guess what? I'm out here.
Yeah.
That's corny. We got deeper issues in that.
He's the only one on CNN.
But times is changing. But so my point is, so again, for those who just came in, so 3 issues: political oppression, economic oppression, social oppression. So politically, all we gotta do is unify ourselves around something. To me, it's a red, green, and black flag. Green, red, and black, whatever, however order you want to do it. But it's our flag that says we are one people, new Africans. That's what I call us. We're not old Africans. We're not that. Look at us. We're not that.
Nope.
My mom said that.
We're not current day Africans that's over there right now. We're not. But we're our own kind of Africans. New Africans. That's us. Black people. Whatever you want to call us. We can decide. I think we take a vote on it. We do a vote, and hey, it's what we are. But until we raise our hand and say to the world, hey guys, this is us. Independent nation here in America. When we do that, that's what I said in my email that you guys got. If one nation around the world recognizes us as a people, we can have a seat at the United Nations as a people and can talk about our issues at the world level. Until then, we're just a sub-race up here in America called
Just-
Jewish Nazis.
Just wandering lost.
That's it. So that handles our political side. Boom, we got political power. Unification. Baltimore, we shut down a city in Baltimore. We could do that in Alabama. We have the highest population of blacks. In the top 5 population of blacks are in Alabama. I know Baltimore's number 5. There's like 3 other cities I forgot. But we have some strong populations where we can actually make a stance. If we want it, we got a uni around something. Economically, very simple. And you guys see, my partners in this event and in other ventures are European American. It's cool, it's no big deal. And they understand that I have to empower my community's the poorest. I'd be a fool to not. I'd be a traitor to not empower my community. And they would too. If their community was the poorest, I feel you. Your community the poorest, you guys have been oppressed for 450, 500 years, I get it. There's nothing wrong with empowering a community that is the most underserved statistically. We go give money to Libya and Syria and Africa, and 50 Cent got big bottles of water, and Jay-Z got this, and Oprah got schools over in Africa because they're poor. In America, we're the poorest. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't I? Right? There's nothing bad with being pro and oppressed people who happen to be your people. There's nothing wrong with that. True. We get so scared to be black or think black that it's like, oh, maybe the rest of the world might roll.
You know where I agree with you 100%? I think that our fault is feeling like, we have to get white Americans to understand.
Right.
No, you don't. Afrocentricity is black life from a black perspective. Period. Like, we validate ourselves. That's the first thing.
It's a culture you won't understand.
The second thing, the only thing we need from white America is to understand that there is systemic racism and you need to reinvest. Period. Like, you have an obligation to reinvest because we didn't get reparations.
Well, I want to stop you there. What we need from white America is empathy and compassion for our situation.
Yes.
Well, hold on. What we need, don't confuse. See, this is the issue where we get divided, white and black, because we make synonymous our government with white. 2 different things. Current day white Americans, like Lael, right here, all we need is for you to understand our plight, empathize with us and what we've been through as a people.
Like we would with any other culture.
But what we need from our government, no matter if it's a black president, white president, anybody between, is to pay like they owe because they do owe. It's the government who our beef is with, and corporations and individuals of the past who participated in our exploitation and oppression and enslavement.
When I was going to build that on, that's my final point, and I think that I say this over and over again, like a broken record. I believe thoroughly that apathy is worse than hate. So there was indignities that were transgressed upon us in the past, and that's why I believe that reparations are how we should choose to accept those. But the worst thing that can happen in the black middle class, for those of us that are complicit, or the white middle class, is to just turn the channel or ignore it. As long as it's not affecting me, as long as it's not affecting my life and my comfort, that is worse than it takes calories to hate somebody. It takes calories to be like, you know what, I hate you.
It takes effort.
That takes effort. But
it takes no effort to ignore.
To make sure that public transportation doesn't go to certain neighborhoods so they can't come in your area, or to make sure certain people can't get in your buildings, or like that's a lot easier because then it's out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
I think that stuff has to be in our minds that we work together.
Well, in order for us to work together, we have to unify politically to order to force any change we wanted, and then harness our economic power. So the whole point behind our economic power is for every, we're the poorest community statistically, we know that. So for every, and we spend the most at the poorest communities.
So how does that work?
We're the poorest of all family wealth. All family wealth in America, we're the poorest. And we spend the most out of all communities in America.
So where's our money?
So that tells you something.
Well, we don't have a legacy.
Hold on, right, correct. Well, we don't have a lot.
I'm not saying we don't have a legacy. We don't have generational wealth. So
Right.
There's
Foundation.
nothing to lose.
Foundation.
So you are YOLO. You are being Batman. Because it's like, I don't know where my next meal is coming from.
But the
So
other side,
I'm
the people in our communities, the apathy comes from like, I'm not, like, this is where I give you so much props, and part of the reason I'm here and supporting this is because people don't have the education. So people will sell as much as they can without educating. Like, hey, maybe you shouldn't spend all your money on my shoes.
Right.
They wouldn't
Probably
say
shouldn't buy these Kanye's or Jordans or buy this gold chain or buy this this album that's telling you to kill your community and everything else.
But they trickle it on us without no care. Like, here you go.
They don't have the social responsibility to do so because they feel like they're coming from the same places we're coming from, and they're going to give it however they and whoever's back they can.
No, I Queen, I agree and disagree at the same time. they know they have a social responsibility.
give
They
back.
purposely ignore
Yeah.
the social responsibility because it's a crack dealer
No, some
syndrome.
of them have said, I'm a basketball player, or I'm this, or I'm that. I am not your role model. Some of them have said that.
That's a cop out.
And that's
That
selfish.
is a
That's a cop out.
Selfish.
No, I'm not saying I
Right.
agree with you too, but I just know.
But I'm saying because you say something out of your mouth doesn't mean you believe it in your heart.
right, oh no, of course.
It's the
Like
easy
you
thing to
said.
say that, hey, I'm not a role model because that relieves me of responsibility towards me doing anything for you, or being any kind of example for you, right? But in the right, but in the economic cycle, so what that tells me, one is that our financial responsibility is not there because we're poorest and we spend the most. But secondly, it's even if you were financially irresponsible, we were YOLO, BMF, blow money fast. But we YOLO and blew money fast within our own community, our own businesses.
We'd be the ones on top.
We'd be richer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's cool if you want to go buy $300 sneakers, $1,000 sneakers, $1,000 belts, whatever you want to do.
If it was
But
ours.
It's
right.
Nike shoes that
You
went
just
into our community.
and I'm just as guilty with my European suit and my European sneakers. I'm just as guilty, and I'm working my way out of it. And part of that becomes too also an economic cycle is for us to be able to support black businesses, we have to create good black businesses. I don't want to support a whack business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You just talking about what the contracts do.
Right. So we have to do better, more entrepreneur training, more branding training, more of these things that we're doing, so that way you could be a better black business owner, better product creator, better servicer of your product, better customer service, so we can feel good about supporting you. That's one.
And you get the same quality, right? Like,
Right.
and the suit's no different.
Honestly, it could be a little less quality.
Yeah. But if
I'll
you
take a
know,
little less as long as something's there.
yeah.
But for the fact that, because the reality is this, and Malcolm said it best, for every dollar that we spend outside of our community and put it to another community, it's very simple. That community gets richer, we stay poor. And it's not it's not a racist thing or anything like that. It's just economics. It's that blacks have spent, which is why integration was so great for everyone else, because we want to feel like we fit in. So I want to spend money with all of you so that I can feel like I fit in.
The other thing that he said was how asinine it is to ask the people that oppress you for jobs. Turn around and
Yeah.
beg them for employment, beg them for opportunity.
True.
Instead of creating them yourself.
And we feed our kids from HBCUs back into that structure, not understanding that, educating them, using that 4 years, we don't use it constructively. We don't use that time to really leverage them into employment or creating their own jobs.
Or
We
just
don't know how to do
employment.
it.
Just employment.
So we
Just employment.
True.
You get told how to have a career. You don't get told how to own a business. You don't get taught financial education.
Right. New mortgages.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was
So,
like
right,
Martin Luther
that's
King
why I'm
said.
here.
Martin Luther King
Tell
said
my
that.
son,
He said that in
You
that.
like video games? You like sneakers? You can design your own sneakers. You're smart
True.
enough. My son has a 3.7 GPA, graduates next year.
Congratulations.
You can
Congratulations.
program your own game.
That's true.
You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
So you don't want to work like me. This is why I'm here, because I want to get out of that. But you have to, like you said, there's nowhere for our kids to go. There's nowhere for those college students to go out into the country after they graduate and say I have my own, because they don't. You know what I mean? We haven't created that. Our parents' generation was a working class generation. They think I'm crazy for being here. They're like, why are you quitting your job? Why do you want to quit that good job? I don't want to work 30 years and get a watch like you. You know, so I'm trying to create that. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? You know,
It's true. That's what they give you. That's what they get. What you
you
get.
die before that, you don't get nothing. You know, so I'm here to create that legacy, to build that, to where our kids can say, because our kids are talented.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, and there are people, and I met on social media, the guy who did my website is amazing. You know, and I'm like, these young people have all the information. They're so much smarter. This generation is so much smarter, and they just don't have the resources. We don't build into it. Like you said, we're going out, we're buying from other designers. I try to support the black designers. I try to support, a t-shirt here or whatever. But it's like
It's not
they
enough.
don't have the ground.
And the quality.
They don't have the momentum. We don't have anything to stand on.
And that
We don't
goes
have
back to
that's
that
what I mean,
unity.
We don't have that legacy. So there is no reason for us to say, you know what, I don't want to blow my money fast because I don't know what tomorrow is. So I'm going to live it up today. You know what I mean? I don't have this generational wealth to where if I mess up, then my kids won't.
I believe that's
Because
I believe that's an excuse, Queen. I believe that's an excuse because for that's the backwards thinking. So if you're saying, you know what, I don't have
No,
to
I
let.
don't think that thinking is right.
Right, no,
but that's what I'm saying.
yeah, I
We
know
need to
you're not
still
saying that,
Give
right.
some type of hope. Give some type of, like you said, in there. what's your goal?
What's
You know
your
what I mean?
goal?
Give some
Right.
goals
Make
because
you
right
think.
now
You gotta
these
think.
kids don't have anything that they can say in 10 years that they're going to have. They don't know.
Right. Well, I think as a community, we need a goal.
Right.
That's really the issue, right? We all have individual goals. Eventually, your kids may come out of it, get individual goals, but we don't have an individual goal. Or we do, I do at least. But I mean,
But but when we
popular
work
enough,
together, where
right?
If you're
Rolled around
into
like
banking, you're into web design, you're into clothing, you're into
Right, which is part of the concept
so
that I
like
want to create.
a black community or a black Wall Street.
That's what
They bombed us on Black Wall
Hold on. No, time's out. That's what the pilot that I'm actually looking to infuse into Baltimore is an actual Black Wall Street district to show an example of what that looks like. People believe what they can see,
Yeah.
right? And we all know the history. I got you. We know the history of Black Wall Street, and that's why you learn from history.
Yeah.
So if we know that they were tore down, that means we have to have better defense set up for these kind of areas. But it does revolve around strategically. It's different. Okay, you buy a t-shirt here and there. You support some black music here and there. You do something here and there. That's a here and there thing.
Right.
It has to be organized, concentrated, strategic, and unified action. And then that, right, a lifestyle. And see, I think it revolves around those three things again. See, politically, we all said, yo, listen, we want to be New Africans, whatever we want to be called. Right? And we're going to, listen, cool, we're in America, we get that, nobody got to quit their jobs. I'm not saying all that, I'm not saying anarchy. What I'm saying is that recognizing as us, just like Japanese Americans, Dominican Americans, Puerto Rican Americans, or whatever else, we're going to name ourselves.
Right.
We're going to claim ourselves, and we're going to claim one thing. That will give everybody hope for something greater, right? And then economically, we start having pilots of what a black community looks like and understanding that it may be a sacrifice to what's popular, but if we start spending money within each other, we'll get each other richer,
and we grow.
And
we
we'll
grow
actually
as
grow.
well.
And not to that money outside of our communities. That's what the church used to do. But now.
Don't get me started.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Right.
The church got bought out.
But that's what we were organized.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The church got bought out by 501c3s,
Right.
nonprofit money, grant
So
money,
once the
and
church
government
and
money.
state
That's what happened.
got married, then that's gone. So yes, you're right. We need a system. We need some type of organization.
Because if they was trying to help us, we would be having financial courses in the church. That's the organization.
They be teaching black history in the church as well.
And civil rights in the church. We had that in the church.
No,
If
the
they
other,
was-
the
if they
other
was
thing I
like-
believe, when you have a good investment, you can co-sign this, you have an exit strategy. And I believe in getting a university education. I believe in a skills trade, but I also believe there should be an exit strategy. Personally, I have a good job. I am an airline pilot. I fly all over the world. I think that's great, right? I have a networking group of 600 black airline pilots, and everybody. I have astronauts in this network. People that are fighter pilots flying all over the world. But you know what? The exit strategy is for me is to take this great resource and this great skill and invest that in our community. So if somebody says, "Hey, I want to be a lawyer," that's cool. You know what? Go on Wall Street, save. You can make your money. You can do really well, and then take that back to your community,
and take it back.
or take your skills when you have enough money. Invest in yourself in your community, and I feel like. That exit strategy has to be the next step that's not necessarily given at the university level, right? Because people are like, oh, you're a pilot, that's cool, that's nice. And then the next step, my exit strategy, is to own multiple apartment buildings and in my community, invest in my community, and then I don't need that, and that Dame Dash interview that's so controversial, what step was?
Yeah.
Like, if I want to get my friend hired, I have to go ask them, dude, like, hey, can you please give him a chance? Like,
And they're still not going to hire him.
No.
It's all ownership. Whereas real estate or businesses
and I
are
think
all
that my end point is that exit strategy has to be shown that, hey, you can become an engineer and you can work for Halliburton. That's amazing. And then after that, what?
Bring it back.
From my opinion, I'm coming more so from the block. When you in jail, we really don't have no real material that can help us grow. Like all we see is Vibe magazines, hip hop artists. That's what we talk about getting on the radio. If they could really start their life, for example, the books like you talked about, those informal educational books, that's what we need, because when we get out, our living circumstances is different. As soon as we get out, we don't have a steady place to stay, so we have to go get it. You feel me? But if you had something where we can learn how to invest in real estate, no money down, that stuff can empower a bro. Like, look here, I know I'm on my third strike, on my second strike. I'm gonna try this, and he could build his hood, because those houses out there, it's money. It's money. It's money.
Houses work.
Houses work. It's the new product, and that's the thing that I feel like the system is messing up with. You talk about
the system was not messing up.
Yeah.
It wasn't
It's designed to help you. It's designed to help you.
Well, yeah, it's working perfect. Yeah, you're right.
He's on to keep you on spot.
Hold on.
But still, they say they don't want you to come back and buy.
No, listen, all right. Everybody follow me, right?
Yeah.
Everybody follow me. I want you, all right. I want everybody to do what I say, okay? All right, Tony, I want you to take a step back. I want you to get the group real quick. All right? I want everybody to do what I said. You ready? Yeah. Ready?
I'm never
All right, come on.
Man, I start something.
Touch your ear. Touch your ear.
Touch your ear. That ain't your ear. Your ear's here.
I know. Why are you touching your nose, though?
Oh, my ear. I got what you're saying, though.
And half of y'all took a second to try to digest what was going on.
Yeah, I
It's
got
called a mixed signal.
Yeah.
It's not what somebody tell you. It's what they show you. I can tell you, yo, bro, man, I love you, man. I love you, bro. I love you, man. It's not what somebody tell you, but what they show you.
Yeah.
So that's my whole theory. Is like, even on a macro level, if we know that, okay, the Africans and the African heirs couldn't read for 300 years. It was illegal for us to read and write. It was illegal for us to own businesses for 300 years, businesses or land. 300 years. A whole people could own any business or any land, right? While another community was able to own businesses, own land, read and write. They excelled for 300 years with our labor on top of that. So it was a 600-year divide. So it's common knowledge. And America apologized for it in 2008. That means you admitted your human rights violations, your human rights crimes. So if you know it's a 600-year gap, but you're telling us that we're free, we're equal, it's a fair country. Don't tell me that.
Show me.
that.
That's the missing part of the history, though. Redlining, that great piece by Ta-Nehisi Coates in the Atlantic talked about redlining, detriment to head. Again, aviation, this is my perspective. I don't know one person my age, I'm 32 years old, that has a grandfather that was a commercial pilot.
Right.
True.
He did commercial aviation in 1950.
Right.
There's no black pilots until 1965. Are you kidding? 20 years after Tuskegee Airmen. 20
Bro,
years after
we're not
Tuskegee Airmen.
Bro,
anywhere.
there's 1.3 million realtors in the United States. 4% are African American.
I was going to say
4%
that
are
could
Hispanic.
transfer so many industries that we have been set 2 generations behind.
More than 2, bro.
At least 3.
More than 2. It's like 300
years. Oh, it's like
Like
100.
300 years.
That's 30
Hold on.
generations.
300 years is only the enslavement portion. Then 100 years of Jim Crow.
Yeah.
That's how far
I'm
I've been
just
set
talking
behind.
about, I'm just talking about like inversion in the science. And people are like, oh
a
man,
lot.
we wish we had more black female engineers. Well,
If they were, when they were allowed in school,
No,
the
you
60s.
mentioned redlining. So anyone does know redlining. Redlining is when the government drew red lines around the maps and said, put all the Africans here.
Here, yeah.
Right? Put all the uneducated, non-land owning, non-business owning, poor Africans here. And let's fund housing projects and put them in condensed areas. Let's see what happens.
It was a project.
I say this every
after the Great
project.
Depression, just to
Definitely.
enhance what you said.
Right.
So this is
One
when
of
they
the
were basically reinvesting in the
craziest
white community. And if you were a service
You-
worker, like
you
worked
know,
in the garden,
Granny,
you
you know,
worked in the
like
house,
one
you
of
were
them.
excluded from Social Security, and you were excluded from being given these investments. So communities outside the red lines could get government subsidized loans. So values went up.
So we don't even understand the significance of our trauma and our oppression.
Well, that's,
Which is why I'm so adamant about it, because it's only right. This is fair human rights stuff, right? So you can't tell me that the Japanese Americans are worth more than Africans and their heirs, where they get 1.6 billion for 2 years in internment camps. Or where, huh? Yes. Or where the Native Americans,
We built this.
Native Americans got sovereignty land and millions of reparations, or where the German Jews got 1.6 billion and they got Israel. So there's no knock to anybody, just saying what's up with my people.
Yeah, don't just say an apology without
Right,
something
but
behind it.
here's the issue. I don't think you read my email. I spelled it all. You did? Okay, great.
Yeah, I'll talk to you on camera.
Okay. So, for us, we can never actually make the case though for getting restitution or repair aid or sovereignty
Until
or
we
reparations
unite.
until we are actually
One
a
people.
nation.
Yeah.
That's why we don't have it.
That's
That's why we don't have
US
it.
government
It's because
buying
we
the
are
dollar.
not a nation. We're not considered black people are not considered a nation by the World Court. We're just a sub-race of Americans.
So we have to get to the United Nations
Sub
first.
means under.
Right.
Yeah.
Subsidiary.
That means
Yeah.
under.
Correct. So, as far as our political goals and goals in general, it has to be that. It becomes some kind of unified front, unified nation. It has to be. Otherwise, we'll never get restored. And you can't say with that 600-year gap, I'm just waving the white flag. All right, it's cool. It's been 50 years now. And I'm not about that life. You owe me, you owe me.
Yeah, you know,
Right.
I like your path forward in the solution because if you look at a lot of